KX News Storm Team.
Back to KX News at 10. I'm meteorologist Michael Gonzalez, and we had a few inches of light powdery snow that fell today across parts of south central North Dakota. It was a very narrow corridor associated with an upper level front that's set up across the I-94 region, and we saw some reports of anywhere from 3 to even as much as 7 inches in parts of northern Bismarck, as well as over towards Center and Oliver County, then a couple inches off to the west, even including south of Williston. So that was a nice little clipper system that blew through today, but skies have since cleared out, and we have these clear skies that allow the temperatures to drop quite a bit tonight. And in fact, most areas are already below zero. The system that we had blew through is already off the radar, slid on off to the southeast in South Dakota and even off towards Iowa. As we zoom out a little further, we'll see what the setup is looking like right now. We have this polar high that is taking the place of that clipper system that moved through today, with some of those northeasterly winds that are helping keep things relatively cool tonight. And that's also the high pressure keeping skies relatively on the clear side. But notice that we have yet another clipper system off to our west. That is going to continue to drift off to the east, and we'll have another little batch of snow moving through tomorrow. We shouldn't see anything more than perhaps 1.5 to 2 inches at the very most, and it'll also help move this boundary over here between some mild air and the much more frigid air on our side of the Rocky Mountains right now, and that'll allow those temperatures to warm up quite a bit by the time we get to Monday and Tuesday. We could be seeing highs above freezing, so we will be watching this pattern evolve rather quickly over the next couple days. It is a fairly active pattern. Temperatures right now, as I had mentioned, are below zero already, courtesy of that high pressure system. In fact, you can see the clockwise flow around the high pressure system on these wind barbs that are painted onto the temperature map right now, and 13 below already at Hazen, 10 below at Minot, 18 below at Crosby. So we're going to be approaching 20 below perhaps at a few locations tonight, and for the great majority of us, we'll be hovering around this range, single digits below zero for much of the night. And your wind chills, brought to you by Absolute Comfort Plumbing and Heating, shows that we're generally seeing feels like temperatures around 20 below, with a few areas even approaching 30 below feels like temperatures, just courtesy of perhaps a stronger little wind gust or so. But the winds are going to be on the lighter side tonight, so wind chills should not be nearly as much of a factor. As we move into tomorrow, we'll be warming up to right around 10 degrees, 10 to 15 degrees along the Highway 83 corridor, with the warmest location being off towards the southwest, a little bit of a harbinger of what's to come as we move towards Monday and Tuesday, a little bit warmer, approaching the freezing mark, and virtually the whole area could be looking at a brief bout of snow in the afternoon. As we'll see on Precision Cast, it'll move through really quickly from west to east. It'll be in the Sunday morning over towards the west, and it'll be right around noontime by the time we get to the Highway 83 corridor, and then this snow band will continue off to the east, and it'll be out of our area by Sunday afternoon and evening, and snowfall amounts will be on the light side, just a dusting to perhaps an additional inch or even 2 inches at the very most across our entire region. But it won't be nearly as localized as we saw today with that very localized area of accumulations near Bismarck. And wind gusts tomorrow will be on the lighter side, up to 20 miles per hour, perhaps out of the south-southeast there on Sunday afternoon. But those aren't going to be much of a factor, as much as they will be as we move towards Monday. And Monday, we will see that warm front move through, which will allow those temperatures to get above freezing. It will be on the breezy side with those winds broadly out of the south as this next clipper system moves off to our north and east. Shouldn't see much other than perhaps a few sprinkles of rain even along the Highway 83 corridor there on Monday. And high temperatures will be, as I mentioned, right around freezing to perhaps even as warm as 40 degrees off towards southwestern North Dakota. Then as we move into Tuesday, yet another clipper system moves through, except this one will be a little bit more substantial, producing perhaps some rainfall across parts of western and central North Dakota by the time we get to Tuesday morning, and that will continue into the early afternoon hours, with snow most favored over towards Minot and points east. It's not going to be a huge snowmaker for our area. Temperatures will actually be just a little bit too on the warm side, at least towards Bismarck and Dickinson and even Williston. By the time we get to Tuesday late afternoon, the cold front will sweep through, and we should see some light snow, perhaps 1 inch to 2 inches of accumulation. But the big factor is going to be very, very strong winds there on the backside of this low pressure system. We could see winds gusting perhaps as much as 50 to 55 miles per hour, especially over towards Dickinson and Bowman. So it'll be a bit of a stout system there on Tuesday. So Williston's next 5 days show that it is going to be a rather changeable pattern, going from 15 degrees tomorrow to 35 on Monday, 39 on Tuesday, then much colder by Wednesday and Thursday. Dickinson just about the same. It'll be cooling off quite a bit as that cold front rolls through on Tuesday there into Wednesday, and highs only in the single digits above zero on Thursday. And Minot's next 7 days show a very similar situation, with a fairly likely chance of a rain-snow mix there on Tuesday, then cooling off substantially by the time we get to the end of the week. And Bismarck's next 7 days show that we will be perhaps seeing the coolest air of the season there by Friday, with a chance of not even getting above zero.
All right, thanks, Michael. Appreciate it. Coming up next in